Welcome back to my writer's room, everyone. I am Matt Wallace, YouTube's resident angry writer, and thank you for taking a few minutes out of your day to come hang out with me here in my angry, lonely little writerly sanctum. I always appreciate that. I really do. Me not being naked on the vlog is brought to you as always by our t-shirt of the day. Today I've got my Hulk Smash shirt on. Not terribly exciting, but it's one of my like comfort security blanket shirts. And I've had a long day, so that's what's happening. But you got to keep the gimmick going for the days that you need it. So there you go. It is February 1st, 2018. It is Thursday. You've almost made it to the end of the week. You're almost there. Just hang on. Hold on for one more day. As some very wise women once said, you see, Ham Shackle Pig is in bed hiding under a very visually distorted blanket. I think I was going for fuzzy, but he's hiding under his blanket because he's just over it. Like a man projectile vomiting into a toilet, he is over it. Sat here for 60 seconds thinking of that punchline. It was incredibly not worth the time. It wasn't worth it. Absolutely wasn't worth it. I apologize for that punchline. So I did want to say, before we get started, if you missed it, we're now doing monthly mystery prize box giveaways here on the channel. I announced it earlier this month when I did this month's prize giveaway. And we're giving away mystery prize boxes filled with books and swag. And if you were curious, like, what kind of stuff you'll get if you win the monthly prize giveaway here on Angry Writer, one of the winners of this month, Stitch from Stitch's Media Mix, a longtime reader and supporter of mine, who won this month, actually did an unboxing video of her prize box that I sent her as the winner. So I will put that link in the description. Go check it out. You'll see exactly the kind of stuff that you will get if you enter and win one of the random prize drawings that we're going to be doing every month here on the channel. So thought that might be a little motivation for you. Some people might look at the video and go, well, I don't want any of that crap. That's fine. For the rest of you, the next prize box giveaway will be happening in just a few weeks. We're going to do it the penultimate Friday of this month. I'll announce it, and then the last Friday of this month, I will do the drawing and announce the winner. So go check out Stitch's unboxing, see what you're playing for, come back penultimate Friday of the month, and enter the drawing. It's that simple. Just my way of saying thank you for watching the videos, and I like to give back. I'm a giver. I'm feeling dry today. I'll be perfectly honest with you. It's been a really long one. I got up at ass o'clock in the morning to record this week's episode of the Ditch Diggers podcast with my co-host Mer Lafferty, Philip K. Dick Award nominee Mer Lafferty, we just found out a few weeks ago. But yeah, so I got up bright and early so I could get that banged out before work started, and we recorded the new episode, and it was very emotionally and like physically draining for me because I like went off. We talked about brand management for writers, for authors, and their book series. And the big example we used was everything happening this week with J.K. Rowling and Fantastic Beasts and gay yet not gay Dumbledore. And once we got into that and I got Rowling, man, I just, like, it was all fire and brimstone for an hour, and I went off on Rowling, and I went off on Hollywood, I'm sure, at some point, and I went off on all the authors propping her and her bullshit up, and I'm sure when the episode goes live, I'm going to take no end of crap about it. And I don't care. I made it clear in the episode it was all my opinion, my perspective, and people are free to disagree, but it came from the heart, and it came equal parts from the head. I believe everything I said this morning, but so it was very draining. It was a very draining episode, and then after we finally got that finished, and it was a difficult one to shoot because, like, Mer's dog was going bananas a bunch of times, and she had to quiet the dog, and then her agent called with news, and we had to stop recording for that. So it just took forever to get the show out, but it was a good show, and I was happy when we were done with it, but it was a very draining process. And then I got to actually start my work day, and it seems like I've just been in meetings all day, and I just feel like the life force has been sucked through my eyeballs for the past 8 hours. So I'm feeling spent, man. I'm feeling a little dry, and now I'm sitting down to do the vlog. I try to get these banged out early. Banged? I wanted to say bung for a minute there. I told you I'm not a well man. I try to get these done early when I'm bright and bushy-tailed in the morning and have a clear perspective on life and know what I want to talk about. today just didn't work out that way, man. With the new job, I have to do everything else around it, everything else that I do, and I do a lot. So, and I'm still figuring out the schedule and adjusting to that. I've been talking about that in the vlog. So today I just wanted to be honest with you folks who watch this vlog every day and just let you know that I'm feeling very spent. I'm feeling very drained, and I'm doing the best I can to sally forth and give y'all something worthwhile for your money that you're not paying to watch this. So did I mention I have a new book not out? I was going to say I have a new book out, not out for publication. It's not like released. You can't go read it. But I have a new manuscript that is out there with editors who hopefully will want to buy it. That is a thing that's happening right now that I don't think I mentioned on the podcast. It's my first. I'm calling it my anti-epic fantasy novel. It is epic fantasy, but it's my attempt to turn the genre completely on its head and use the tropes of the genre to in a self-aware way to examine corruption and revolution and all kinds of interesting themes. It's again, as I'm explaining this, I am very spent, and I apologize if that sounds really boring. So I finished it at an awkward time last year. I finished it right before the holidays when the publishing world basically goes on vacation, closing anything from like right before Thanksgiving to like 2 weeks after January is usually just an impossibility. There's no point in even trying. So now that everybody's coming back into the office, the manuscript is waiting for them. My agent sent it out to a bunch of new people, new editors. It's with like all the big ones. It's with all the people who publish all the fantasy, basically. And hopefully within the next few weeks, we're going to get an idea of where we stand with it and if people are interested. And it's incredibly nerve-wracking for me because I spent years writing this book, literally years. It took me so much longer than I thought I ever envisioned or imagined it would. Way longer than I planned. And just because I had never written this kind of book before, I had never written a work of this scope before. And like when I started, I didn't know how to do it. I had to learn how to write this book through trial and error and through many, many drafts as I went along. And when I finally understood what I was doing, I produced something that I am incredibly proud of and that I think really takes my fiction to another level. And I think accomplishes everything I want to accomplish with it. My agent really loved it, was really proud of it, and is feeling really optimistic about it, but that's his job. So it's just, but yeah, so until we get the word back though, I'm just going to be agonizing quietly on the inside. Because here's the thing. You have that spectrum of hope to paranoia. It goes past fear into like conspiratorial paranoia. On the extreme end of the spectrum, you think it's good enough, you think it's your best work ever, you think I wouldn't be surprised if a bidding war started around this thing. That's what we want. We want a bidding war. We want all the publishing houses to love it so much that editors arm themselves and engage in single combat in the streets of New York for the right to give me exorbitant amounts of money to buy this manuscript. That's like this end of the spectrum. On the other end of the spectrum, you think, oh my God, it's garbage. I wasted years of my life. They're all going to see me for the fraud that I am. No one is going to want to buy it. They're never going to want to read anything of mine ever again. My agent is going to leave me. My wife is going to leave me. People who have heard about how terrible my manuscript is will congregate on the lawn and burn my house down. Like that's how deep down the shame hole you go on this end of the spectrum. And what's great is you get to experience those pretty much simultaneously. At least I do. They live in my head side by side. This immense optimism and this immense hope and this immense pride and belief in what I've done right next to this immense fear and this immense paranoia and this intense dread that everything will go as bad as it can possibly go. They live side by side in your head. And they're not even warring with each other. That's what's messed up about it. Like, at least if they were fighting, at least if it was an emotional struggle going on, you could, like, experience it and live in that. And there would be something to cling to. There'd be a victor eventually. One would win out over the other. But it's not like that. It's like they're chilling out having tea. Or, they've met up at a bar to have a couple of beers after work. And they're just like, one of them's like, hey, how are you doing? I'm great. I think the book's going to do fabulously. I think it's going to make us rich and famous and take our career to the next plateau. How are you doing? Oh, I think we're going to end up hanging ourselves because it goes so terribly. And they just discuss it casually. And they both respect each other's viewpoints. It's exactly the opposite of discourse on Twitter. That's really what it is. And that's what I'm going to be living with for the next several weeks at least, as we start to glean the offer pool, should there be one, on this new book that I have out. But that's a thing that's happening. And as I'm doing all this other stuff, as I am a month into this new high-level position at this international media and marketing company, and we're talking about our clients in Hong Kong and in London, and I'm the content guy who's supposed to come up with all this brilliant stuff for everybody, I'm living with that in my head, in the background at all times. It makes the meetings really fun. So there's that. And I have no thesis on this. I don't have any lesson to teach you or myself. I don't have any good place that I get to any of this. This is just a thing that is happening, is going to happen. There's nothing to be done about it. I have no coping mechanism to give you. I have no sage wisdom to offer. I'm going to live with this duality of crippling paranoia and fear and dread and intense hope and pride and optimism until I get some kind of resolution on whether the book sells or not. And there's nothing I can do about it. So you got that to look forward to if you haven't finished your first novel yet. Congratulations. I'm sorry. Truth. I told you. Storytelling and brutal truth. That's all I've got to give you on this vlog. And that was one barrel way too much. I apologize. I want to end on a happy note, so we'll dig here and we'll find something. Actually, I know exactly how I will end things on that positive note. Last night, Nikki, my wife, and I, we actually got our wedding pictures back. We'd been waiting since both of our ceremonies. If you recall, we had two ceremonies, my wife and I. We had a small church ceremony to appease her Polish Catholic family, and then we had a larger ceremony for a very select group of friends and extended family in Las Vegas at the Neon Sign Museum, which is one of my favorite museums in the whole country and one of the most beautiful places you'll ever see, if you have my sensibilities anyway. So we finally got pictures back from both of them from the photographer, and they were, and I'll be honest, I wasn't really feeling one way or another about it. I know my wife was very nerve-wracked about it because she's always, she doesn't think she takes pictures well at all. She usually hates pictures of her, and she wanted her wedding pictures to be good, as I believe all brides and all grooms do. I wanted them to be good too, but I think she was much more nerve-wracked about it. I've been too preoccupied to really care one way or another, and I'd reconciled that whatever we got, it would be fine. But they just came out so just ethereally, immaculately good. The photographer is actually a really close friend of my wife's, named Nancy, who's one of the best people I've ever met. She's a mind-blowingly good person and an immensely talented photographer. And she did the whole thing for free as a gift to us, and did an amazing job. Spent months editing these things to make them perfect, and they really are. And last night, we got the email late at night, and we sat in front of the big computer, my wife and I, just going through all these images of the church and our family and friends and the reception, and it was lovely. Every image was seemed to be better than the last one. Everyone evoked just the best kind of nostalgia, even though this was only a couple of months ago. And we're really happy with them. And maybe I'll share some with you here on the vlog at some point. I believe my editing prowess is such I can splice in a few still images. I could probably manage that. But that was a good thing. That was a nice thing. That it's going to be one of the highlights of this week for sure. And so even amidst all of this existential drama and dread going on, nice little wondrous things still happen in between, and you got to focus on those. So that's a nice thing to end the vlog for everybody out there. No, crap. You're halfway home, folks. Friday looms. Just hang in there a little bit longer, and you'll see the end of the week, and the weekend will be upon us. I will be back tomorrow to wrap everything up with our end of the week question, as I always am. And in the meantime, please like, share, subscribe. Leave a comment. Let me know what you thought of the vlog, what you're thinking of the channel. Ask a question, suggest a topic for me to talk about. I'm just happy to hear from you. I am. So please, leave me a comment. Smash that like button, and until next we meet, I am Matt Wallace, and I will see you all on Friday.